But Ma Kyung-rak's eyes, cold, venomous, froze him in place. His words dripped contempt, spoken in perfect English. If you're confident, come at me. Killing a bug like you is nothing to me. Jeffrey swallowed hard, saying nothing. And with that final threat, Ma Kyung-rak vanished into the shadows with An Sang-cheol. No one followed. Not Jeffrey, not Seo Arin, not Christine. They all knew. His strength was beyond them for now. Seo Arin asked, her brows knit with worry. In the end, we let them get away. What should we do? Someone said, there's nothing we can do. The voice that answered startled them. Seo Arin turned, eyes widening in recognition. Ah, Yamtinim? Relief lit her face before confusion quickly replaced it. Inquiring, how are you here, Yamtinim? She replied, I heard about the situation from Black Scythe. Seo Arin nodded faintly. Of course, Yamti was Black Scythe's acquaintance. That explained her sudden arrival. Seo Arin said, if you came to help, you're a bit late. Yamti's lips curled ever so slightly, saying, is that so? No disappointment touched her features. If anything, she seemed satisfied, as though her goal was already achieved. Seo Arin blinked, unsettled by the expression. Strange, but she shook it off. Surely it was just her imagination. She had no idea how wrong she was. Later in the forest, Ma Kyung-rak leaned against a tree, his body trembling with pain, saying, Phew, let's take a short break before we continue. And Sang-cheol said, yes, director. The wounds were too severe. Each breath was fire in his chest. His skin burned raw. Ma Kyung-rak muttered. His eyes gleamed with a mix of fear and grudging respect. That cripple. He was much stronger than I expected, using corpses as bombs. Someone like that must be in the top 5. And Sang-cheol crouched nearby, inquiring, how are your injuries? Ma Kyung-rak said with a bitter grin. Don't worry about me. Just a few broken ribs and charred skin. But deep down, he knew. Without Christine's healing, his body wouldn't recover quickly. He chuckled, a humorless sound, saying, damn it, to think I tried to kill her just moments ago. Now, I actually miss her. But in Sang-cheol's silence grew heavy. The atmosphere shifted, thick and suffocating. Finally, he spoke. You should consider going back. He inquired, what did you just say? And Sang-cheol replied, if you return, Christine can heal you. Confess your sins. Receive treatment. The smile slid from Ma Kyung-rak's face. His eyes hardened into ice, saying, Manager An, are you suggesting I get healed only to rot in prison? He said, it's better than losing your life, don't you think? Ma Kyung-rak's lips curled in irritation, saying, you speak as if I'm already dead. And Sang-cheol's gaze was steady, unflinching, saying, you are dead, because I'm going to kill you. Ma Kyung-rak's eyes widened, stunned. A blade pierced his chest, hot blood bubbling from his lips as he stared down in disbelief. The sword buried in his flesh belonged to none other than An Sang-cheol. His voice broke, choked by blood. You! And Sang-cheol said nothing. His silence was colder than the steel in Ma Kyung-rak's chest, and for the first time, true fear flickered in Ma Kyung-rak's eyes. The report came to an end with a calm voice over the phone. That concludes the report. I've also taken care of the task you assigned. Ryu's tone was low but steady. Good work. Stay close to them until the situation is fully resolved. Just in case, the reply had come promptly, firm and loyal. Understood, Master. Now, alone, he sat in silence, but his mind was anything but quiet. His eyes narrowed into slits, a shadow of determination crossing his face, saying, if you call it long, it's long. If short, short. But this bad blood ends here. He leaned back in his chair, folding his arms. Truth be told, he had never intended to kill Ma Kyung-rak, not in the beginning. His lips curled into a thin line as he recalled his earlier thoughts. I considered keeping him alive until the 20th round. He had potential. Ma Kyung-rak was, without question, powerful. A force on the battlefield. A man who could deal devastating damage. But power was not enough. Ryu shook his head slowly, saying, what I need more than a damage dealer with an inferiority complex is a reliable supporter. And when weighed against Christine, the choice was simple. His eyes softened, a fleeting warmth flickering in them. Christine was worth far more. Sure, Ma Kyung-rak could have been brought under control. With Yamti, domination was easy enough. But Ryu's gaze darkened again, saying, but he tried to kill his own brother. That alone was enough. A man who would slaughter his own flesh and blood could not be trusted. He and his brother were cut from the same cloth. Rotten, dangerous, unworthy of salvation. No, there was no need to save Ma Kyung-rak. Instead, Ryu saw an opportunity to use this dark nature. He devised the plan with cold precision. Christine and Seo Arin would witness Ma Kyung-rak's true self with their own eyes. Disgust distrust and revulsion would grow naturally in their hearts. They would distance themselves from him, and Christine would become his. The plan worked, flawlessly even, almost. Ryu's lips pressed into a thin line, saying, the problem was Christine's intervention. She had stepped into the fray. She had saved Ma Kyung-soo. Compassion had driven her into danger, a risk Ryu had not foreseen, and with that single act, everything shifted. Because of that, Christine and Seo Aaron were placed in mortal danger. It was natural for a criminal to silence witnesses. Ryu had anticipated that. That was why he had placed Jeffrey and Ju Seong-tak nearby. Yamti had been his final safeguard, the ace in the hole. He thought that with Yamti there, nothing catastrophic would happen. Yet, unexpectedly, it wasn't Yamti who played the decisive role. Ju Seong-tak had stepped forward, his expression grim, his hands channeling power. With an explosive corpse, he struck Ma Kyung-rok hard, so hard that the man crumpled, gravely injured. Ryu allowed himself a small chuckle, saying, but he didn't kill him. That much he left unfinished. So Ryu made the choice himself. His eyes gleamed as he recalled the command he had given. He had whispered into Yamti's mind, his tone cold as steel. Approach the two secretly, dominate Ansang Cheol, order him to pretend to help Ma Kyung-rok escape, and when the chance comes, kill him. Yamti had carried out the order perfectly. Not only had Ma Kyung-rok been slain, but Ansang Cheol had been commanded to erase the body, dispose of the evidence, and then take his own life. The operation was swift, clean, ruthless. Ryu said to himself, I hadn't planned to kill Ma Kyung-rok, but once Christine became involved, there was no other path. He tried to kill her, the witness. That made them irreconcilable. I couldn't keep them both. The decision was made, and the system confirmed the outcome without mercy. Target Ma Kyung-rok cannot be found. No such person exists. Target Ansang Cheol cannot be found. No such person exists. Gone. Erased. Exactly as planned. Ryu's lips curved into the faintest of smiles, saying, Ansang Cheol erased Ma Kyung-rok's body, then ended his own life, just as I ordered. The matter was over, wrapped neatly with no loose ends. Now came the rewards. He had held back on selling his shares before, careful not to draw suspicion from Ma Kyung-rok. But now there was no reason to wait. He said, I should sell them all, every share. That alone will earn me nearly $1 trillion, and when I do, the company will collapse. He allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. It's about time it collapses. Without Ma Kyung-rok, it has no future. The thought lingered, cold and sharp, when suddenly his device buzzed. A video call request. Jeffrey. Ryu's eyes glimmered with amusement as he slid on a white mask, his voice calm when he answered. Jeffy. On the other side, Jeffrey bowed slightly, his expression grim. Black Scythe Nim. Ryu tilted his head, feigning ignorance, inquiring, why the grim face? Something happened? Jeffrey showed the devastated scene through the camera, explaining the incident in a grave tone. Ryu listened, nodding slowly as if this were his first time hearing of it. Of course, Yamti had already reported everything. Ryu said, I see. So there was a conflict after all. Was anyone hurt? Jeffrey hesitated, saying, no one was hurt, thankfully. However, the people here would like to hear your explanation, sir. At that moment, Christine and Seo Aaron stepped into view. Their faces were tense, but their eyes burned with questions. Christine spoke first. Hello, Black Scythe. I'm sorry for the sudden call, but we have a question. Ryu's masked face tilted slightly, his tone calm as though he already knew, saying, let me guess. You want to know how I knew about Ma Kyung-rok's crime? Seo Aaron added firmly. That's right, and also why you called us here. Ryu's eyes lowered, as though choosing his words carefully, saying, some of you may already know. I've been in communication with a prophet named Ryu Min. Our connection has only been for a short time. The women exchanged glances, curiosity in their eyes. Ryu added, he told me something, that a man known as Cheonma, Ma Kyung-rok, was destined to kill his own family at a certain place. And he told me this man was connected to you both, one as a fiancé, the other as a boss. Christine and Seo Aaron gasped softly, realization dawning on their faces. Christine asked, her voice low, when did you receive this prophecy? Ryu Min answered calmly. Before the 12th round began, she inquired. So, almost a month ago? He replied, yes. He sighed, his shoulders dropping ever so slightly, saying, I couldn't see Cheonma in a favorable light after that. That's why I rejected his party invitation in the 12th round. Seo Aaron blinked, her lips parting in surprise, saying, oh, that's why. The sting of rejection she had once felt now made sense. Ryu's voice softened further, carrying carrying the weight of inner struggle. As the rounds progressed, I debated with myself. Should I tell you that one among you was tied to a murderer, or should I remain silent? I wrestled with that choice. Christine's eyes widened slightly. Black scythe, agonizing over their safety. It was unexpected, almost unthinkable. Ryu added, if I hadn't heard the prophecy, I might have left things alone, but after hearing it, I couldn't just sit idly by. And when I discovered that Jeffy knew Christine, I asked him for a favor. Christine leaned forward, inquiring, to bring us here? Ryu nodded solemnly, saying, I couldn't move directly, so I had Jeffy and Ju Xiong Tak gather you all in one place. I wanted you to see Ma Kyung Rock's true nature with your own eyes. There was truth in his words, mixed skillfully with lies. He added, I could have told you over the phone, yes, but would you have believed me? I doubt it. That's why I arranged this meeting. Seo Aren's shoulders dropped slightly, understanding flickering in her expression, saying, oh, I see. Ryu finished, his voice calm but heavy. Whether you chose to cut ties with him was up to you. I never expected things to escalate like this. Christine lowered her gaze, sadness in her voice. We didn't either. We never imagined Ma Kyung Rock was such a murderer. Seo Aren's face tightened, fear flashing in her eyes, saying, although he escaped, won't he seek revenge on us someday?